Alrighty, good morning everybody. Happy Friday. It is August 26, 2022. So let's go ahead and get started on our pre-market analysis. First thing I do want to say is we do have the Jackson Hole Economic Symposium going on, and who knows, what that is going to bring today. We also have at 7 a.m. Powell will start speaking here, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. We'll also have consumer sentiment dropping at 7 a.m. So potential for there to be some volatility right there. And again, with Jackson Hole going on, who knows what can be said, what might have an influence. We'll just have to wait and see what happens here. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at yesterday as quick as I can. I did not run the trade room. I believe we did the pre-market, and then I had to get some stuff done before I left the house. So was not calling any trades or anything. So I just want to quickly show you what ended up showing up here. And so the market opened and came right into the close of the day before. And in fact, we got some decent bullish signals down when we were testing that level. And then from there got a nice, about 40 point bounce all the way up right into our minor eye level at 84.5. So came right to 84.5, tested it 3 times. I think it broke by like 2 ticks. And then we started getting the failure back down. Came into the OPL, tried to hold, and then held the back end and continued to go lower and got this pretty big correction. And where did the market bounce? Right off 56.5, our minor eye level to the tick. Once it bounced from there, we found resistance off the next eye level at 66.25 here, where we also had the 200 moving average and VWAP. So had trouble at the 200, had trouble at the eye level, came into VWAP and just could not get through. We got a nice confluence right here, I'm calling my holy, I think I said the holy confluence here, where we get the bearish market internals starting to show some clues for the bears. We got a bearish signal, and we've got a test of a relevant level all lining up at the same time. We got it up off of the minor eye level at 84.5. We did sort of get one right around the OPL as we were testing into it. If we couldn't see the right hand side of the chart, and right around VWAP, those just didn't work out. But this actually should be marked right here as another golden confluence, as it tested with bullish internals. Actually, I'll take that out. So anyway, I'm going too long-winded here. It bounced around right between 56.5, right between 66.25, and held in that channel for a while until they popped back up, got through VWAP, and then held it and started attempting to break out to the upside. Got a golden bearish confluence right around this 1130 area and pulled back. But then we got the counter bullish confluence right here and bounced off VWAP for the trek higher. And you can see they basically ride the 200 on the way up, find some resistance at one of our expected resistance zones here, but just not enough strength for a deeper pullback. And then what do you know? The high of the day, 1 tick in front of our next expected resistance zone and our major eye level 42.03. The market failed 1 tick in front of that. It's just crazy stuff, guys. So got a nice golden confluence when we tested that level with some bearish signals, some bearish market internal clues, and being at a major level. And that led to the sell-off into the extended hour close there. Coming into Globex here, you can see that the bulls are still trying to remain strong. Got a decent pullback into 84. In fact, bounced right off 84.5 to the tick. Held the 892, that minor eye level, and then came and dipped just below 84, only to come back up now. And so we're now trekking higher up into the next expected resistance zone here, right around the major retracement at 42.19.25, up to the minor level at 21.25. So that's what we're seeing here this morning coming into the open. Some bullish cooperation in the pre-market. So let's go ahead and jump up to the higher time frames and see what they have to say for this morning. We'll go up to the daily chart, and again, we talked about seeing the bullish divergence off the low of that must be Wednesday. So when we came into the market on, I believe on Wednesday morning, we came into the market and talked about seeing all these bullish clues on the daily. Remember, we couldn't see the right-hand side of the chart, so it was hard to really say, was this going to be a signal that held for the bounce? But we did see it there, and then the 4-hour and the hourly all showed the same bullish signals down from that low. So great confluence there. And again, we've seen some bullish cooperation ever since that printed. That's why we're looking for these signals. When the daily prints a signal, it lines up with the 4-hour, lines up with the hourly. That can lead to some really strong pushes or attempts to push, and so that's what we're getting right now. On the current or yesterday's candle, obviously a very strong bar. Looking at today, we don't really have any new information. We don't have anything indicating there's bearishness at the moment. Remember, anything can change on the drop of a hat here, but don't see any bearishness on this daily chart. Everything looks pretty strong and hunky-dory here. When we go down to the 4-hour chart, let me get rid of that analyst there. We do have the bullish signals from, again, a couple days ago, I believe Wednesday's overnight lows. That led to this breakout, and we do have a couple of bearish signals as the bulls continue to push here. In fact, you could probably argue that this other high that we made here, I guess at the end of the day yesterday, it's also an argument for a bearish divergence from there. But you can see in the overnight session, after a little minor pullback, we're now breaking that high and attempting to push even higher. So that's going to be an interesting clue right there for what's going on. And we do have the retracement down. So we have the high of last week or 2 weeks ago up there at 43.27.5, all the way down to the low we made on Wednesday pre-market, and that gives us 41.93.5, 42.19, 42.19 quarter, whichever one you want to choose there, and 42.44.75. So that's the retracement back up for this little correction that we made a week ago. So be aware of that major retracement back up, and then we have the major retracements back down, which are the same levels that I mentioned for a few days now because it hasn't changed. So those are the two major retracements. And then on the 4-hour, like I said, there was some bearishness from yesterday's high, but we've broken through that now by a pretty good amount, about 10, 12 points. And so we'll see how this all plays out here. Don't have a major alignment of signals there. The only thing that really sticks out to me is that Wednesday's low had a beautiful bullish alignment on all of our higher time frames. So that's really the main signal that's still sticking out. And then outside of that, on the highs we're making here in the overnight session, it's really hard to interpret it right now. There's a potential that could turn into a 4-hour bearish signal. Potential it could be a 60-minute bearish signal as well as we push and RVI stays a little bit lower than it was when we were back here. So this is going to probably take a little bit of time to develop, and it's hard for me to really prognosticate on what's actually going to occur here. But there's some potential for some bearish signals. If everything closed the way it looked right now, there would be a bearish signal. But this still has 45 minutes to develop, and there might be another candle that continues to follow through. And on the 60-minute, we do have just about 45 minutes as well until this one closes. So a lot of time for that to develop, and so I can't really say anything too definitive now from the overnight highs, other than there might be, if it looks like it does now at 7 a.m. and it closes, it might be a bearish clue. So this morning, it's kind of like yesterday. I did say, if I recall correctly, let me just go back to what I told here. Yeah, so multiple time frame bullish signal from the previous daily low is still holding, but no strong alignment coming into the open. I'd argue the same thing this morning. So great alignment from the lows of the week for what we've got for this bullish push so far. From the overnight high, it's kind of hard to say. Some somewhat bearish clues, but it is what it is. So we're going to have to just take it as it comes this morning. And so let's list out all the areas that are going to make sense as potential supports and resistances coming into the end of the week here. So right now you can see we're just about to get up into that retracement there at 19. And we have the 42.21 quarter eye level just above it there. That's our first pocket of expected resistance this morning. Let's expand this out a little bit. If they end up getting through there, everything else is all the levels we've been talking about for a few weeks or whatever now. So all the major minor eye levels are up here that you should be aware of. We've got the final retracement up there at 42.44.75. We have some swing highs and swing lows that I labeled a few days ago or maybe even a week ago now. So those should already be on your chart. And so as we push up, we've got that pocket coming very soon, and then this pocket here, and then this pocket here that stick out to me. But each discrete level is a potential resistance zone as the bulls continue to push here. And then we're really looking for, if we get through 56, 43.06, 43.24 up top. On the flip side of things, if the bears do somehow hold the market down and pull things back, every level that we have down below us here is already a level that we should be aware of. The only new thing I added was this retracement back up from the low of the week up to the high here of the overnight session. And it actually looks like, because we got a pop, these retracements are moving, right? So they're not static. If the highs continue to push, we have to redraw these retracements. So I had them on earlier and they were sitting right here, but we've broken out ever since I've drawn this on. And so I'm going to have to redraw this, and that means we have to shift these major retracements back down. The thing that makes this difficult, unless we make it a very obvious high, like kind of we made here in the from yesterday, and we start to really pull back, it's hard to say where this is going to end. So even though I might list out these three retracements that I'm seeing right here, these might shift. If the bulls continue to push, we're going to have to redraw it. So that's the caveat to these levels. But assuming the overnight high stays and we don't break it, then we would have 41.76 half, 41.64, and 41.51 quarter as our major retracements back down. But just remember, you're going to have to draw that in yourself and monitor it in case it does push to new highs. So for now, I'll leave it up on my 60-minute chart, but I'm not going to put it in as a permanent level. And now I have to erase the others because it's shifted. So I'll get rid of the other ones. See if I can click on that. Of course, can't select it, right? I'm clicking right on it, but yet it won't be, it doesn't select. I'm just going to have to leave it there. So that's what we're looking at on the pullback here. If the bears stay in control, we've got whatever retracement scheme we're going to have, and I'm going to go ahead and actually just remove it because it's just a little too much. But we do have the OPL in this little area where we had the retracement as things pushed up into that area that acted as a really strong support in the overnight session until they broke through and broke below it. So we still have the OPL at 91 quarter, the eye level at 92, and that retracement at 93. So that little 1.5 point pocket, maybe 2 point pocket is still in play. We still have the close there at 95 quarter that they could come back and retrace to. Always a possibility. And then outside of all the levels you guys should have in your charts, the major and minor eye levels, and maybe some of the swings that we talked about, we have the magenta line, 50% of yesterday at 73 there. And then if we can get down through the close of yesterday and the major eye level 41.42, which 42 has just worked unbelievably throughout all this chop at the beginning of the week, then we're down into all these minor levels we've had listed for a long time. So, and then it gets back down into the major retracements and all that for the much larger leg. So if you zoom all the way out, you can see we've got the major leg up from 36.39 all the way up to that high at 27.5. And that's what these retracements are that I told you about, probably for about a week or two now. So those are all the levels that we're dealing with here coming into the open. And like I said, unlike Wednesday, where everything was really lining up for the bulls to push higher, this morning it's hard for me to really interpret what's going to happen here. So we're just going to have to take it as it comes. Obviously, watching market internals, watching momentum, seeing what levels are holding are all going to give us clues as to what could be happening here. And then once again, I'll just remind you that 7 a.m. Powell will start speaking, and we have a drop of, I believe, consumer sentiment, if I recall correctly. So potential wonkiness on the dome right around 7 a.m. And with the with that Jackson hole going on, who knows what could happen here. So be careful. It's Friday. You don't want to give back all your winnings of the week here, trying to make something happen. So until something sexy sets up, I'd urge you to be careful with everything going on right now with the symposium and with Powell speaking just about 30 minutes after the open. So that's what we see here. And enjoy your weekend. We'll be back on Monday to do it all over again. So see you then.